Hi, today we're going to talk about Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. This book is for ages, well, actually grades 3 to 7. It is just over 280 pages long, and I really enjoyed the book. I think that it is probably a little bit more for the engaged reader. It's lengthy for the age group that it is written for, but once you get reading it, it has a really nice flow to it, and it allows for the whole story to be portrayed before it kind of hits with the heavier stuff in the book. So I think that it allows for some enjoyment before the kind of sad and heavy stuff that happens. I don't really like to say if a book is for a specific gender of a child. Normally, I would say a book is gender neutral, but in this specific book, there is a lot of like girl relationships, young girl friendships, and things that happen. I mean, there are definitely some boys involved in there, but I guess it might lean more toward a younger female child just because of these relationships. They would be more relatable to that age. This book is about a girl named Sal, and she's a very impressionable preteen teenage, and her mother just kind of up and leaves, and she goes on her own journey, and she needs to take this trip and travel alone, and it brings up a lot of question for Sal. She can't really understand why her mom would leave her like that. And then to find out that her mom's not coming back, these are just things that she can't process, and she can't understand why her mom, who she had such a close bond with, would just up and leave her like that. So she confided in her friend Phoebe Winterbottom, and Phoebe went through something kind of similar. Her mom left as well, but her mom came back. So Phoebe went a little off the rails during this time, probably seeing that Sal's mom didn't come back, so she was, probably feeling the same concern. um, Sal's grandparents took her on a trip, and they basically followed the same route that Sal's mom had been on. And Sal basically, walked in her mom's shoes along that trip to understand what her mom had gone through and what she didn't know but had been her final days. Sal's mom did die in a bus accident, which is terribly sad, but she faced a lot of loss. Her mom had lost a baby. She lost her mom, and then she also lost her grandmother, who she was very close with. This book was written in a way that allowed you to go through the whole process of the confusion and the harboring of the certain relationships, and clinging to different people over others to, I guess, because she felt more connected to them, so she confided in different people rather than like her father, who she was a little more resentful of. So it went through all of those relationships before you got to the end, where it was kind of like, well, her mother had died in a bus accident, and then, she went through the emotions of that. So I think it was a really neat way to write it to allow for those feelings to be conveyed. I think there are a lot of great examples in this book of how to treat your peers. So, this is definitely a book that I would look forward to using in the future. There are times where Sal snapped at Phoebe when she was being unreasonable, but there were also a lot of times where she was mindful that Phoebe was going through some things that she could relate to, so she was very patient with her. I think that children would react to this book. It would be very relatable to for them, even though they didn't experience the loss, or maybe hopefully they didn't experience the loss. But I think that they could relate to the relationships that go on and the communication aspects that go on in this book. So it's definitely something that would be relatable, and that I would definitely look forward to using in the future to as good examples of communicating with your peers.